So today I was reminded how much I love offline single-player games. Thanks to Diablo 4's beta and the persistent online single-player experiences that came before it, now my vocabulary has expanded to long queues and authentication pending. It's not all bad though. Diablo 4 beta has honestly, beyond the connectivity issues, blown me away and has gone above and beyond what I was expecting. We're going to be talking about all of it, the good and the bad, from the Diablo 4 beta so far, from my personal experience, and what Blizzard is also currently doing to fine-tune the game right now. And there's a lot of good stuff here. Also, I went with Barbarian at first. What class did you guys go with? Let me know in the comments down below. And just before the beta, Blizzard just about gave the entire community a heart attack and released this couch co-op video with what seemed to be horrible graphics of Diablo 4. Everyone was asking, has there been a downgrade for the console versions of the game? What's going on? Well, I got to play on both PC and the Xbox Series X, and I'm going to talk about those comparisons in a moment, and a very surprising feature that actually worked during the beta, which kind of blew me away, actually. And as always, remember to check out the video guide in the description below to skip ahead to the info you seek, and check out that PS5 and Xbox Series X giveaway in the pinned comment below. I'm even giving away Nintendo Switch if that's what you want. Now, we got to talk about lingering issues. So before I get into the good stuff, and trust me, there's a ton of good stuff about Diablo 4, even in the beta stage, we need to talk about the problems. Diablo 4 has made me desire offline single player even more after waiting for so long to play this game and having to deal with so many issues, waiting in queues, disconnects, and the total frustrations that go along with it. I began to ask myself, why do we even need this to be a persistent online game in the first place? All I want to do is play single player right now. Why can't I just have that option to play offline? Yes, I will hop into co-op later, but I want to enjoy the story and be mindful of the cinematics playing and follow what's being said without someone talking into my ear. And yes, I know the online elements definitely have potential here, don't get me wrong, and I'm still rather curious about them. And I get that the world bosses have instances where other actual human players will team up with you to take on challenges together, and there's other moments where you can run into other players in this world, even in cities, which is cool to see. But is that what I really want? Is that what I really need? Can't NPCs give me that same sense of, I don't know, community? And don't I ultimately want the option of being able to just hop in the game in the first place and escape the problems of long queues and sudden disconnects? Honestly, I'm playing Diablo 4 for the solo experience. That's my personal way of playing it. At least give me that option. And another big concern I highlighted in my Diablo 4 early reviews video, which you can watch on the channel, by the way, if you haven't, is the potential that these online elements of random instances with other players will in fact ruin the fun and not help the game at all. Well, I had the chance to play a few of these multiplayer instances so far in the beta, where you take on a challenge with other players and get a bigger reward if you can succeed together. I can say that it is cool to have another player join you in battle, although I will say in my personal experience, it did take that challenge away, which is something I was really enjoying about World 2, being able to explore on my own and kind of be overwhelmed and take on that challenge. Now, at certain points, again, I just want the option to go offline and not deal with other players hopping in and kind of stealing the kills away from a challenge. And the entire idea of large battles with other players can easily be imitated offline with other NPC characters that provide perhaps some sort of interesting backstory as to what's going on here. So I do think it's actually doable having these large battles with other NPCs offline. And world bosses are an entirely different matter. We only have a set amount of chances to try them during the beta, and Blizzard has outlined the timing of when this world boss will appear. But with all the issues with disconnects and queuing, are we really expected to be on time for these events? Is exactly the problem that could be avoided with the option of offline play. However, again, this is a beta. Once they iron these issues out, I'm sure that scheduling won't be as big of an issue. We need to talk about, has there really been a downgrade on next-gen consoles versus, say, the PC? So recently, Blizzard posted this video right here about couch co-op in Diablo 4, There was quite a negative response to this video because, well, visually the game looked completely downgraded here. That's just not the case whatsoever. I got to play on both PC and Xbox Series X. Didn't get the chance to test it out on PS5, but each version looks very similar, retaining the promised dark tone as advertised, and each platform has its own issues as well. Some weird oddities and cinematics on PC, some loading textures on Xbox Series X, but overall, no matter what platform you own, don't expect a downgrade. And once the game is actually up and running, it runs fairly smooth. And considering this is a beta, I was blown away when I was able to load up my PC Barbarian seamlessly straight onto the Xbox Series X. And I was able to continue straight where I left off from my PC save onto the Xbox Series X, which is super convenient. And I was kind of surprised with how good the Xbox Series X version ran, by the way. So now I'm torn if I'm going to be on PC or Xbox Series X at this point, which is actually a good sign. Blizzard was able to pull off Diablo 4 on consoles, which is great. In fact, the game is simply stunning all around, from the opening scene with your character caught out in the middle of a snowstorm to creepy dungeons and mythical caves. The environments absolutely shine with detail, fidelity, and the lighting is beautiful. Simple things like how your shadow casts around torches really add to the atmosphere of this game. And mentioning the atmosphere, by the way, I got lost in this game. It's a collection of things going on here, from the dreary musical score to the excellent voice work. It's all feeling very much like they fit together, that this is a fully realized world, and you can't help but get fully immersed into this world. Things are broken up by integrated cinematics, both showcasing your own character and those more blur production type quality cinematics that we expect from Blizzard, but there's no cohesion lost between any of this. And the world itself is absolutely huge. Even in the beta, it's all seamless, and it's a dream come true that Diablo as a franchise has tackled the open world formula in its own way. After exploring just a few hours and seeing how big Zone 1 is, and knowing there's 5 zones total to explore in the final game, yeah, this is going to be a very big game, and that excites me. Thankfully, I never felt like it was all just filler content, which is the case for many open world games. There's always something entertaining around each corner here, so that's great news. And yes, despite some of the complaints in this video, I'm totally addicted roaming around the world of Sanctuary as my barbarian, who continues to grow in power each step of the way. There's something about opening up the skill tree and finding a brand new ability to discover, because guess what? These skills actually have tangible, cool results in game. Some of these RPGs, I have to say, have a ton of passive abilities just to boast that they have a large skill tree, when in reality they have a very bloated skill tree. Not the case here whatsoever. And I've barely scratched the surface, and already my character is pretty much a jack of all trades barbarian who could dish out heavy physical pain, but also deal some serious bleeding effect on large groups. It's also the challenge that I'm really loving about this game, by the way. I'm on World Tier 2 right now, and some of these bosses are no pushovers, let me tell you what, and I've met my end several times. So far the difficulty is perfect for me personally, and I tested the waters a bit too much in some scenarios. But that's the thing, the game constantly encourages you to experiment with your character build to take on tougher and tougher enemies. And you know what? Once you overcome these challenging battles, there's always some sort of gratifying loot waiting for you at the end of this bloody rainbow. I'm telling you, the loot and the gear I have received so far is beautiful and effective. I'm curious to see how this continues as we keep going. So yes, it's a beta. It's going to have some problems, but I think this beta has reminded me that not all games have to be online all the time. Despite this, the experience once in the game has actually been quite smooth overall, with the usual oddities, some strange frame rate dips relating to streaming an entirely new city or location, some commonplace open worldish type issues these games seem to always face. But you know what? Blizzard is busy working on some fixes. They've already started an entirely new thread of what they're working to fix throughout this beta period, including performance optimization for both PC and consoles. So I'm sure some of the jankiness will become, well, less janky in the future. At least I hope we do see some improvements in areas when exploring around towns. I'm noticing some frame rate dips there. So yeah, I'm going to continue my adventure right now in Diablo 4. I might run into, you never know. You might see me in one of the cities or something as my barbarian. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.